Wong. Holy crap.
Hey guys, our video this week is on one of the oldest, most enduring, and most deadly of the creatures throughout the Zelda franchise. These creatures have made an appearance in nearly every game in the Zelda series, and in nearly each one, they are as dangerous as they are fluffy and adorable. In a world of Stalfos, Guardians, Linnells, and even Ganon himself, one creature rises to the top of the food chain. Our video this week is on the deadly, the enduring, the legendary Cucco. We'll be going over their appearance in the various games, what they are, and how they've changed.
Okay, so all jokes aside, most anyone who's played a Zelda game will probably tell you that while not necessarily the quote-unquote worst or most difficult foes in the game, Cuccos are surprisingly violent and deadly. Others will tell you that Cuccos aren't technically foes within the context of most of the games, Hyrule Warriors aside. Both of these statements are true. But the Cucco is unequivocally one of the most well-known and notorious creatures from the Zelda franchise. Ask anyone what the biggest names in the series are, and you'll get the same three answers: Link, Zelda, and Ganon/Ganondorf. Ask them who or what the most iconic characters and creatures are besides the big three, and Cuccos will almost always make the list. But what are Cuccos, and why do you, the viewer, care? Well, to answer that, we'll have to start from the beginning.
So first things first, the Cucco is, by most accounts, simply the Zelda version of a chicken. They first appeared in the third Zelda game, Zelda: A Link to the Past, wherein they appear to have similar roles in society to chickens in real life, and they have appeared in every game since then. They look like chickens, sound like chickens, behave like chickens, and in some games, NPCs will refer to one another as cuckoos in the same way you or I might call someone a chicken for being cowardly.
Nobody calls me chicken.
But on at least one occasion that we could find, an NPC also refers to chickens as different creatures, and a different NPC in a different game calls cuckoos themselves chickens. Since the character that says chickens and cuckoos are different things comes from a more recent game, it is probably safe to assume that chickens and cuckoos are different creatures, which infers that chickens exist in the Zelda games, despite never being seen anywhere. Though various bird-like food dishes can be found throughout the games, so it is possible, we suppose, that said poultry could be either chicken or cuckoo? Anyway, in the earliest games, all cuckoos were white, a trend that continued until Twilight Princess, at which time they also began to come in other normal, real-world chicken colors, like brown. And in the recent Breath of the Wild game, the cuckoos come as a white-breasted fowl with blue fringes and coloring on the wings, tails, and head, as well as a brown or orange coloration on the majority of the body. There are a handful of rarer variants as well, including a seemingly unique blue cuckoo, and rare and powerful golden-colored cuckoos, which are generally designed as some form of super cuckoo.
So now we all know Cuccos are essentially Zeldaverse chickens. So what makes them different? What makes them special? And of course, what makes them deadly? To begin with, unlike real-life chickens, Cuccos can fly. That's right, these tiny, seemingly flightless, presumably raised as livestock, chicken-like creatures have the power of flight. And they're incredibly strong flyers too. Not only can they hurl themselves about in the air, as any creature capable of flight is wont to do, but in most of the Zelda games, the player, as Link, can pick up the cuckoo, and using these cuckoos as a sort of makeshift parachute, the player can slowly float around, cushioning the player's landing to safely protect them from otherwise damaging or fatal falls, and even accessing otherwise unreachable areas in the process. The cuckoos are not strong enough to propel Link upward, always inevitably being dragged down to the ground by Link's superior size and weight. But that's still impressive, considering the cuckoo is the size of your average real-world chicken, we're guessing about 5 pounds, and Link, according to Wii Fit, weighs 155.4 pounds. Now, for those who don't know, in order for any object to stay floating in the air, that object must exert a force equal to its own weight to maintain buoyancy, i.e., for a 155.4 pound Link to stay floating in place, a cuckoo would have to exert 155.4 pounds of force as it flapped. Now, for the bird and the hero duo to actually stay afloat, the cuckoo would have to exert 155.4 pounds of force plus whatever the bird weighed, by our estimations 5 pounds. But since he slowly falls, we figure that the cuckoo probably puts out about 150 to 155 pounds of force. This is sloppy and quick math, but you get the idea. That little bird has some serious flapping power in those tiny little wings. In addition, the aforementioned golden cuckoo makes an appearance in Twilight Princess with even greater flying power, allowing the player to float farther without dropping as quickly as they would floating around with a normal cuckoo.
But the thing that really sets cuckoos apart, and the thing that solidifies cuckoos in the memories of Zelda players everywhere, is the fact that they are almost always depicted as immortal killing machines when riled. Of the 14 games in which the cuckoo makes an appearance, only 2 games allow you to slay the seemingly innocent fowl. Way back in Link's Awakening, they could be slain using the magic rod or magic powder, making it the only game where the player can easily end the life of a cuckoo. More recently, in Breath of the Wild, it has been determined that the seemingly immortal birds can die if thrown into lava, which for geographical reasons is significantly more difficult. But with these 2 exceptions, the cuckoo is completely immortal, either taking unlimited attacks without dying or dodging the player's attacks entirely. If people do eat these things, we just want to know one thing. How do you slaughter an immortal not chicken? I mean, you have to kill the thing to be able to cook it, right? It doesn't just jump onto the grill or into the pot for you. But that aside, immortality, while notable, wouldn't stick these livestock birds into the memories of all who've played a Zelda game were it not for the final trait they possess. A trait generally discovered in tandem with the cuckoo's immortality.
If a cuckoo is damaged enough times, the exact number of attacks or amount of damage required changes depending upon the game you're playing, the cuckoo lets out a chicken-like cry, summoning dozens of other cuckoos to the location of the player and the abused cuckoo. Dozens of flying cuckoos, all unified with a single purpose: slaughtering the player for daring to raise a Hylian hand against one of their feathery brethren. In earlier games, these cuckoos would fly around attacking Link indefinitely. If the player was particularly lucky or skilled, they may have been able to avoid the Downy Wrath for a time, but the only way to stop the cuckoo assault was to zone out of the area, moving into a different portion of the game that required a loading screen of some sort, such as leaving town or entering a building. If the player didn't do this, the flying cuckoos, who you can't attack, would peck you until you finally gave in to the shame of attacking a seemingly defenseless cuckoo. Also, the blood loss, and just died. In more recent games, as zoning in and out of areas has become less commonplace and existing zones have increased in size, the cuckoo assault has gone from everlasting to being a timed event. The change has made cuckoos slightly less deadly, because obviously they don't come at you forever. But that instinctual fear is still there, and they still do a fair amount of damage. The legacy of the deadly cuckoo is so ingrained, gleefully, we should add, into the Zelda player base though, that in one of the newer games, Hyrule Warriors, a game in which the player takes control of renowned characters from the franchise and battles hordes of enemies, they included cuckoos into the game. And, depending upon the game mode, they can be anything from innocently wandering the world, only to summon furious cuckoos to fight whoever attacked it, just like in the rest of the games, or even go so far as to spawn in the world and actively ransack fortresses controlled by both the player and the player's enemies. Bottom line, cuckoos are known for being dangerous, and we the player base love them for it.
And that's basically the story of the cuckoo, the somewhat mystical species of not quite a chicken from the Zelda series. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave us a like, and if you have any ideas for videos you want to see us do in the future, or have comments or questions concerning this or other videos we've done, write a comment down below and we'll get back to you on it. If you'd like to see more videos from us in the future, be they lore or let's play, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
In the meantime, guys, this has been
Two Men and a Mic, signing off.
Hey guys, you can click the link in the left for our last lore video,
You can click the link on the right for our last Let's Play.
and right here in the middle, that orb, you can hit that to subscribe.
Also, ring the bell if you want to be notified when we post a new video.
This is Two Men and a Mic. Thanks for watching.